Yeah, I just started recording. Um, yeah, it doesn't evidently it doesn't look like it's going to turn out though. Here's on more. Um, but that's okay too. That's okay too. I think there's a tribal thing in any group that that it may appear to outside members as if it's a cult or a strange belief, and that's probably normal too. Oh, look at that thing. He's like a dog. Look at me, Papa. Look at me. Cute. Oh my God. How sweet that is.
Hey,
Oh,
oh, beautiful.
it is beautiful.
Michael, it's like people are the cult thing. It's and people, it seems that humans are afraid of what is different than I seem to be. Their
Oh,
difference. Fear,
yeah.
and we don't in someone like I'd say like us, I don't know, there's no fear because there's no difference. It's just part of a, a Shakespeare play or a Dickens novel. But there's a total fear of what is not me, not my religion, not my country, not my language, not my God, you know,
Yeah.
not, yeah, it's fear, it's fear driven.
We spent millions of years mistrusting the tribe next to us because they were probably going to try to kill us. I think, like you said, anything we don't understand, I suppose it's fear. Um, th that prejudice, I think, is natural. To fear people who are different than us, to fear different color than us, different languages.
But even my daughter, Michael, my daughter is a very successful anesthesiologist in Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
And I raised her in a middle class environment, and she did very well. And she asked me, Mother, what do you listen to on all these YouTubes? Even when I tell her health and wellness, that's off the chart already.
Oh, yeah, she's very smart. I mean, brilliant.
Brilliant, but
Uh,
it has to be within parameters that are seen as normal for that
mm.
person. And I'm not grandmother that's knitting in the corner making strawberry jam, you know. So
No.
when I just say I do some yoga, some chair yoga for seniors, they're just like, oh mother,
Oh my.
oh Barry,
Oh
yeah.
my.
Hey,
And I raised her so she knows, but she wants me for her image, to
Oh
be
yeah. Yeah.
different than I am. She
Different.
wants me to be the mommy of the mother of the successful doctor,
Oh my.
you know. And there
Well,
isn't one. There's just happiness for her success.
oh, isn't that nice? Yes.
You know, we can't be in the same room together for more than 5 minutes, but I'm delighted in how many lives she probably saves. You
Oh,
know, I think it can be like that, the love. It
yes.
doesn't have to be the love of the personality. She I totally do not sync with her personality. I don't like it. It's
Mm,
money based,
mm.
it's a look at me based, all that stuff. But for her, that's her world. But I see in that world, she's saving children. So I so my the attention of the heart seems to go naturally there
Mm.
to what.
I think in a way that we are a cult of one, uh, that our belief system, our each person's personas or brain's belief system is so unique that it's a universe unto itself. And in a way, this cult of one is part of its programming appears to be a generalized mistrust of anything that doesn't align with their beliefs. Um, I've been talking about astrology on several websites, and a lot of people believe in astrology, and I don't have anything particularly against astrology, but I'm always talking about beliefs. That's the core of what I'm talking about is how firm we are in our beliefs and how sure we are of them. So many people have come up with scientific explanations of astrology and how it works, and like anything, I think once we start to believe it, it's self-reinforcing. I don't know if how many people have heard into a Enneagram, but I'm a three, in case you're wondering. Uh, I thought I was a six for a long time, but
You've been demoted, Michael,
no,
from a six to
no,
a three. I don't
three.
know if I can even talk to you.
Yeah, I didn't think I was a three, but then
Anything over five is my kind of
I
guy.
thought you were a five.
I have no idea what this. I think this is something that what's his name, Jason came up with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's similar. I mean, the same belief structure, and I started to believe it. I went to Eli Jackson Bear's,
that's it. That's it. Yeah,
yeah,
Deal
at
Jackson.
Esalen, and he was talking about it, and I thought, well, I really like him, so I checked into it and got some books, and then several people told me I was a three, and so I thought, and I started to believe it. I did, and I went along with it for a long time, and then this new thing happened to me, and I thought, God, that's just a belief. Everything in this dream is a belief. Everything. And even that is part of this dream. Anything that we can come up with is a self-referential um, feedback loop, and the self doesn't exist. So at the end of this, and I'm glad there's no people who aren't familiar with non-duality here. Addie, who hasn't shown up yet, was going to bring her friend who was not at all familiar with non-duality, but that didn't happen. But this idea, a cult of one, I think for people who have spent years studying this, the ground has been tilled and ready for the idea that nothing exists, that they are alone in a universe that's a make-believe realm. And that's terrifying to people. If that were heard by somebody who wasn't familiar with non-duality, there would be aggression, tension, fear. It takes, I think, warriors to face their own total emptiness.
Hmm.
It takes somebody who has been through the mill, been ground up and spit out, and ground up again, uh, beat up and bloody, tear-stained. I think only those few who have found themselves into in this non-duality, for lack of a better word, even that loses its meaning. But I talk to a lot of people who are convinced that they have transcended into some type of realm called enlightenment or awakening, but they don't talk about the ultimate aloneness, the ultimate isolation of this imaginary self. Um, Very few do. And I think that's the doorway, for lack of a better word, into the opening, the eye of the needle, the kingdom of heaven, which is the loss of everything we never had. And from that,
The the
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was sorry, Michael.
Oh,
I was
no
just
worries.
gonna. The word belief is such an interesting word. You know, It really is. And there's an interpretation of the word belief, which is to accept as true that which you have no evidence for. But there, but there's another version as well, because be and live, or be and lief, where it all comes from in the origins of the language and stuff like that, which is to be and live, be
Yeah.
and live. He who should be and live in me, rather than believe in me, in the kind of modern understanding of that word belief.
Mm.
I think it's an important distinction, where people are saying, I don't believe this, don't believe, well, because you've got to have no evidence. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
True.
And
Yeah,
then, yeah, it's a big word. Belief is a big word.
truly, truly. All of our beliefs are about things, and things exist only as names. Um, Belief itself starts to disappear. The lightness that can come when belief evaporates.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Observation
Which is more like the be and live rather than the belief aspect of that
and live.
interpretation. Be and live. When you be and live in that, that's something else happens in the living. It
Sorry. Does that come from German? The belief, live.
I'm big on my sort of
Uh,
etymology stuff, so I've looked
yeah,
at this
yeah,
quite
me
a lot.
too.
But so there's lief, that version,
Yeah,
and there's also whether it was believe or be live, be and live. They're
yeah,
kind of like they all interact a little bit,
yeah,
Phyllis. I know you're into your language, so if you
yeah,
look up lief and the
yeah,
origins of that,
yeah,
I kind of think this stuff's important because we're using language to converse here and convey stuff, and it's really interesting whether we're on the same page with the word we're using. And belief is a really big one, I think, or believe is a really, really big one. It sits so integrally inside of the non-duality conversation, Christian conversation, etc. It's right in there. It's right in there. And I
Mm.
yeah.
kind of think if you get what be and live actually means, then it kind of,
It's like being
yeah,
in life, isn't it? Being one with life,
yes, yeah, yeah,
livingness,
yeah.
livingness. Yeah,
Be life, be life,
yeah,
be
Mm.
being,
live.
yeah, which is
Yeah,
a verb, which is a verb. It's not a noun, a belief.
Mhm.
It's
yes,
living. Uh, to live in
yeah,
life is a verb. So we are verbing. We're living. Or
yes,
there's living happening. Anyway, something's breathing and talking and
yeah, yeah, something like that.
beautiful
Um,
picture.
yeah, because otherwise it's so conceptual, isn't it? Language is so it's an interpretation and it's et cetera. But yeah,
That's a good one, belief.
anyway, it's an interesting one. It's a really interesting one.
Yeah,
I think.
it's a pointer.
Yeah.
Somebody just came in. Oh, look at here. Okay. Um, yeah. Words can be used to study words. We can study the origin of words to a certain point and detect a certain hint at what they may have originally meant. But again, the origin of language is there's some wonderful books on language and
Mm.
how different cultures will contribute to the meaning of a word that is unique to each individual, no matter its origin. Each individual has their own dictionary, their own thesaurus. Um, that's the uniqueness of each persona's world. I think when we get a glimpse of that, the human animal becomes the most mysterious and awe-inspiring creature, and we happen to be one. The love of being, be living,
Mm,
um, subsumes us. That's the
mm,
universal love that Tim Kliss talks about and other people, that it all boils down to love. And for a long time, I disagreed with that. I thought love is just another word. But there is this loving of humanity and realizing that you are part of that. And that love circles back into who we are. And all of a sudden, we love this, whatever it is. We start to love, even with all of our pains and aches and worries, and all of that is embraced as part of being human. And we see it, it opens our heart to everyone else's pain, everyone else's humanity, the travails they've been through. Every life chews us up. It's a meat grinder. Life chews itself up. Out in the forest, those animals are trying to find something to eat. Carnivores are trying to eat the animals, and the animals are trying to find a safe place where there no car. It's just a meat grinder. Um, but humanity has this compassion that I don't believe exists anywhere else in the universe. I think we're unique. Nothing like us has ever been and ever will be again once we're gone. Our species will disappear. All species have a life, have a built-in obsolescence. Um, and when it's gone, the universe, the window to the beauty and love will close, probably never to be seen again. But while we're here, the window to
mm,
is open.
mm. Yeah, the window is open.
Yeah.
Just made me that made that just made me think of the painter, the artist Vermeer, the
Mm. Ah,
artist.
yeah.
There's always by the window. They're
Yeah.
almost always the light is coming through the window, and the person is in that light. So there's something in those paintings. When I first saw them when I was 19 years old
Mm.
abroad, I was I was stuck to those paintings like super glue.
Yeah.
There's something in that light and the women. It was often shining on women who were
Hmm.
working or writing. So there it is, the window.
The window.
He saw it. You know,
Have you seen the video on how they speculated on how he made his paintings?
you know.
Oh, it's beautiful. Um, yeah, the light. Rumi talks about light and talks about light on light. And that's the way I experience this type of interchange. It's light on light. I know I have grown to love. I look at your faces and I have grown to love whatever humanness I see in you. Um, each one of you is a memory to me, uh, a group of memories. The more memories I have, the more the love grows. I noticed that first in Alcoholics Anonymous. In the fourth step, they tell you everything they've ever done and everything about themselves and all the things they regret and the painful things and they just kind of regurgitate it all out. And they think that if someone knew them, really knew them, they couldn't be loved. But you love them more. I did the first step with men and women, which normally isn't done in AA, but we were a very small group and I had more time. So women would ask me, I'd say, okay. And I'd listen to their stories and I learned that women are just like men. The same desires, the same urges, the same regrets, the same ups and downs. And my heart opened in a way it never had before. I see warriors everywhere. I look at a face and I just fall in love. I fall in love It feels like falling. Phyllis and I were laughing about the window that we experienced being a little bit older than most people here was the time. Oh, you say it well, Phyllis. The time before AIDS and after birth control. There was a tiny window there. Um, for those who haven't experienced it, do not relate to that. And that's okay. We all relate to different things, but somehow the people here relate to non-duality. That's our tribe. That's our cult. There's an agreement. There's a simpatico, a resonance, a reaching across the dark from a canyon that's imaginary, a separation that doesn't exist. We're con contacting each other through an imaginary mechanism to, I don't know, I'm lost. Um, I'm lost.
I think it's to go beyond, Michael, isn't it? Is that the expression? To go beyond? There's a beyond. There's a
No,
beyond this conditioned position, and
no,
beyond it is so
no,
infinite.
no. Even beyond, even infinite is part of this. This is the dream of separation. It's a closed loop. There's nothing beyond it. It's imaginary. But in that, well, like, all these are words also, and each of us have a different word for imaginary. But as close as we can get, the language is our only connection. And we have a common language. I couldn't speak to Phyllis in French. I would like to. It sounds like when she speaks in French, it's just captivating. But that just sounds to me. Um, I Our languages are so different, even in English. I grew up in Wyoming, so I have in my contextual world is a Western bias, I think, in terms of those people I grew up with. We all do. Um, that we can communicate at all is amazing. But in that realm is where love exists. Whatever that is, maybe it's tribal. I don't care anymore. But the feeling I have with other people and literally everyone I meet is just delightful. They come and go. It's like a little movie. It flashes up and then they're gone. But I interchange with people wherever I go. I talk with them and I laugh with them and something happens and then they're gone. And but the people I know here are constants in my life, at least for now. I'm looking at Andrea, Indira, Andrea. Say it for me, hon.
Choking here. Indira.
Indira. Ooh, I love that. I've known her for a while. We've talked together. Um, I love her, but it's my Indira. It's the one that lives inside of me. It's unique to me, different than yours, different memories. Um, Somehow this aloneness is no longer a shock to me. It's become who I am. I cannot escape it. For me, there's nothing beyond that. There's no transcending that. This is it. And even this is an interpretation. Quite often you hear in these groups, this is it. This is all there is, or something like that. It's all one. All those things are arrows shot at the moon. Some get a little closer, but it's still impossible. Um, you're left with nothing that you never had to start with. It's very much like a child, like a nonverbal 1-year-old who takes those little Michelin fingers and points. They're pointing. They don't pointing because they want to know the name. They're pointing to share their world with you. Look what I see. Look what I see. Uh, that's, I think, what we're doing here. Look what I see. Look at my world. Um, that's as close as we'll ever get. I've been married to my wife for 62 years now. I don't know who she is. I have no idea who or what she is, and I never will. We can never know another person. We can never know ourselves. The idea that we can never know ourselves is pretty accepted in these groups. It's a little more difficult to know that we can never know another, our own children, our lovers. They're a different galaxy of memories. I find that unbearably beautiful. And for most people who haven't dipped their toes in this river, it's terrifying. And they're repelled by it. And aggression sometimes. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, talking about this stuff all the time. Um,
Sorry,
it,
Michael. My daughter thinks instead of listening to this kind of thing, or she says, Mother, I don't know what you're listening to, but you need to join a book club.
yeah, that would be fun.
You need to go out and meet people. Get
Yeah.
out there, Mother. Go to a book club.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't imagine that would be
Uh,
heaven for me.
Imagine ah the sorrow, the contractedness that this body would feel in a book club. Huh?
God, it would be like going to a high school play. Oh,
Book club. Come along. Come along, Michael. Come along, everybody.
yeah, big.
Let's go crash the book club.
Yeah, you do. But let's do it. Say, I thought you meant.
uh,
Oh gosh. Yeah, those people will never, very few people are even consider this possibility. It's hard at first, some of the things, and they say the self doesn't exist and stuff like that. Um, that say belief in astrology is a self-reinforcing loop that makes no sense at all. And then what was brought up today, belief itself makes no sense at all. Um, belief is what creates this imaginary world. But it's the only place we exist. Where else could we be?
I was just reflecting, Michael. I love your laugh, by the way.
Uh,
It's great to be here with everybody. It doesn't even matter, you
mm,
know. I can have fun in this world, not be of it, but have fun in it, and it being very experiential all at the same time. So, I love the way you look I love the way you look at the world, and you look at the world with beauty and just it's just beautiful and inspiring. And beliefs. Sometimes beliefs come up here. Astrology is fun. I love astrology. I think it's fun. Doesn't mean that I believe in all of it. Some of it may be true, but it doesn't even matter in the long run. At the end of the day, all of it doesn't matter.
no, it
So,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
Beliefs can be fun. The reason I mention things like astrology and Enneagram, tarot cards, is they can tie us into a magical thinking mentality. And I think I wrote something this morning on trying to isolate what magical thinking is as opposed to logical thinking. And it's all magical thinking. Thinking itself emerges out of an objectification of the world, or they're concurrently arise concurrently. Um, and belief itself, all belief is magical thinking. There are no things. If you can think about a belief about anything, um, I can't think of anything right off the hand. Religion, politics. Half this country is liberal, and the other half is conservative, and each side thinks the other side is missing a few nuts and bolts that they can't think. They're the enemy, and that's again part of our tribal nature, and that's okay. But all beliefs are founded on assumptions about things that don't exist. There's no such thing as freedom, as liberty, as life, as love, as mountains. There's no such thing as things. So belief about things that don't exist is all we have. That when that starts to percolate down through the brain's mentation, that everything it believes is not true. And even true is an idea that of something relevant to something that doesn't exist. There's nothing true or false in nature. It doesn't apply to nature. There's nothing true or false about the moon. As somehow, to me, when the brain starts to see that its whole world is nothing but beliefs, again, it can be terrifying, frightening. It'll recoil from that. But once the seed is planted, it grows. The,
Michael,
yes.
uh, what about Indira was talking about self-fulfilling prophecy? I mean, she's talking about astrology, right?
Mhm.
Don't you think like there is something like called like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like I would read like my day is going to be great today, and somehow that will influence my psychological outlook, you know?
I
So I
wonder.
go out there looking and expecting it to be a great day.
Yeah.
More or less like the placebo effect, you know? I give you a tablet and I say, this is going to take away your headache. So won't belief somehow like be affected by that? Like, I mean, within the dreamscape,
Oh,
obviously.
sure. Yeah, I wonder. Self-fulfilling prophecy
Yeah.
let me see. How can I say this? Oh my. Um, in the feedback loop, there's no such thing as an isolated cause or effect when everything is the cause and effect of everything. So we attach ourselves to a belief like we are going to be happy today. And for years, Americans went through this every day in every way, I'm getting better and better, saying that to themselves over and over and over. And
Yes.
it really doesn't make it so. I'm thinking that
But Michael, you also said, I remember, and I'm quoting you, you said every time my mother's hand itches, she would touch wood and then money would come.
say money, 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 money. Yeah, and sure enough, money came sometime down in the future. Could be months later. I told you so. I also mentioned in that post that I don't do that. I don't scratch my hand on wood, but I often wonder how much money I'm missing because of that. That's how deep it is. I still
Yeah,
want
no, but
to
I
touch
mean,
my
not only scratching your
bloody
hand,
brain.
Michael, you have to touch wood as well.
When my hand itches, I start looking around for wood. I still do. And I'm 82 years old. Oh my God. I fell
In a
into,
sense,
I had
in a
a
sense, I think
graduation. I got a fairly, for us, expensive Hamilton watch for graduation. And that night I was wearing it and somebody threw me in a swimming pool and it filled full of water. And every time I get into the tub, I have to check and see if my watch is on. I don't wear a watch, but I have to check and see if my watch is on. That's how deep these beliefs are. I wish I could get rid of that. I cannot get into the tub. And I also went in, I had hearing aids for a while and I didn't like them. But anyway, I took a bath with them one time, put my head below the water. I can't put my head below the water before I have to check for my hearing aids. That is so deeply ingrained in this brain. That's what beliefs are. They grab us. And um, when I thought I was number three in the Enneagram, I started seeing other people as numbers. I thought, oh, there's a five. That person's a five for sure. Every belief, and I'm not against astrology. People actually one of the places I post, I took that post off about astrology because it brought up so much tension. But it's when you believe something. It isn't that you have a belief. You are that belief. You and the structure, brain structure of beliefs is what creates the person. You are beliefs. And one of the beliefs is we can change the beliefs. We can't. We are the beliefs. You can have beliefs, you think you have beliefs in astrology or tarot cards or God, but you don't.
Michael, we can't change. I mean, not, we obviously whatever happens, we have no choice or free will to change stuff. But if you look at it, where do our beliefs come from?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? If you go ahead and you dig deep enough, you will find most of your beliefs come from your cultural background or the people you have interacted with.
Mhm.
Gradually, some beliefs do fall away. I mean, I felt okay, there was a God, and the God was up there, and there was a heaven
Hmm.
full of peaceful people walking.
Uncle Harry's not going to make it for sure.
And obviously, the hell was all fire and brimstone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, right now, I don't believe that. I don't think there's some place where we're going to go where it's fire. And so, I mean, my beliefs have changed. This persona's beliefs has changed.
Beliefs do change, but the person changes with them. The person and the beliefs are the same phenomenon. Same phenomenon. Um, there's no difference. So the brain thinks of its person as a separate entity because that's what has evolved. Most people drift along thinking that they're real. But I see it as this beautiful human brain creates in a person, doesn't create or it's fabricated out of language and accumulated beliefs. And pretty soon this voice is heard inside the head and the brain says, oh, that must be a little person in there or something. It's a wonderful, mysterious, there's incredible books about this, the origin of self. And people have
Sure.
spent a lot of time, but they haven't taken it, the scientists haven't taken it to the next step. Uh, a lot of science, Lebet and many others, have proven logically and scientifically the self does not and cannot exist. But they don't take it to the next step, that if self doesn't exist, what does exist? Um, are there really mountains? Is that just a symbol of a rather large protuberance from the earth? There's no line between mountains. There's no line around mountains. They don't exist. States don't exist. The state of, if you tell the Texan that Texas doesn't exist really. It's just a line in the dirt. They'll want to fight you because Texas is real to them. Um, there's no such thing as things. And objectification cannot see what it thinks of oneness. It calls all imaginary things one great big imaginary thing and thinks that it's got a grasp on reality. And there's no such thing as reality. If it has a name, it's not real. Well, real is just a name too. We're lost. We're lost in words. Not lost. We're confined to and defined by words and thoughts and beliefs and memories.
Yes, but you do, Michael, you do take into account that there is this persona here and there is a persona there.
Hmm. It appears to be.
Although, I mean, you might say that technically there isn't a separate uh, entity,
Hmm.
but there seemingly is this discrepancy between my beliefs and your beliefs,
Hmm.
and Barry's beliefs, and Claire's beliefs.
The people in
And
my dream last
rising
night,
from the very same. Yeah. So how come my beliefs are so different from your beliefs?
that's
I
because
mean,
you're,
it's not because
to start with, you're a woman. You see the
yeah.
world entirely different than men, which I find magnificently wonderful. I don't understand women. They think fundamentally different than men, differently than, and I find that I'll never understand the way women think because I'm a man. And women don't understand how men think, and I think some women think we don't think at all. I don't know. We think differently. Uh,
It's actually different on a chromosomal level.
oh,
So we get
truly,
survival and
truly.
men have a chromosome that women have. They have it in every cell of their body.
Yeah,
Every cell of their body, there's a Y chromosome,
yeah,
and women do not have that. They
yeah,
have two X's,
yeah.
so they are double X. You could
Double,
call, or is it like James Bond 007? Women are double X. Women are double X, and
um,
Y. It's like hangers in the store. Where can I find the double X plus clothes? And the X clothes are
um,
in another place. It's just completely
yeah.
completely different. Why could the Y and Y does not exist in the female body, mind, or reality, whatever it is.
Mm,
But the living of it, the thinking of it, it's totally different, but we can't know how
mm,
it's different. It just
yeah,
and
no.
the beauty is that difference perhaps as well.
Yeah, we
I'm,
can't.
I'm
That's
so pleased to hear this. I feel so much better now after this conversation. I really do. I think I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Very
Oh, Barry,
reassuring.
Barry, the Y chromosome is dying out.
Yeah.
So,
that's woman.
Michael, could you give me an example of? I'd love to hear the differences to you between men and women.
Oh my. Uh, the difference manifests in this magnetic attraction. Um, well, yeah, we try to find things that exist only in thoughts by using other thoughts. The only conceivable answer that doesn't answer your question is the magnetism is what shows the difference. I fall in love with every woman I meet. The male female attraction there. Uh, and men will look at women and women look at men like a sizing up thing. like looking, are you a possible mate? All of that dance is so beautiful. And since adolescence, most of us were required to put a damper on that. Um, Guilt and all of those things that come along with that attraction. Um, I believe as we get older, we can embrace the human condition in all of its in all of its magnificence. None of us would be here without that magnetism. A lot of us were unexpected. A lot of us were unplanned for. It takes a lot of time to raise a child, 20 years or more, or like 30 now. A lot of time and effort for Cro-Magnon to have children. And on the surface, it doesn't make sense. It's too hard to survive yourself, but then you have a little one to take care of. But the desire is so deep, the magnetism is so strong. Um, I find that incredibly beautiful. I love men that I meet. I see warriors. I see, well, I see that in women too, powerful. If you survived this point in Earth's history, I talk about this maybe too much, but you are the survivor genes of millions and millions of years of evolution. Hard times, Middle Ages were awful. The Great Plains of Africa were awful. Bloodthirsty, hard place to make a living. We have it so easy nowadays, but it hasn't been that way for most of our history. So you're the top of the mountain. You're the best of the best. Um, and most people spend their lives worrying about the future or worrying about who or what. Us, when we begin this, is are worrying about who and what we are when we aren't at all. I love the people who have reached this stage of their life where they're open to this. I love uh, I love being human. Claire, who is the gentleman you were with? I've seen him before.
With Sylvan, who I'll let introduce himself.
Well, sorry. Well, yes, I'm Sylvain, and Claire and I we do some work together. So she got me interested in
Ah,
what was being discussed with nice people like you, and she said, "Why don't you come and have a look and a listen and see that you might enjoy it?" So
oh,
far, so good. So
wonderful.
thank you for having me, and it's very nice to meet you all.
Oh, it's nice to meet you. You're a psychotherapist also?
No, I'm not. I'm quite the opposite. I mean, Claire is the brainy one. She's got plenty of qualification and she's very good at what she does. I'm more somebody who was molded by life. I don't have many papers to my name, but I've walked a long way and I've learned something on the way. And I think that life is a fascinating opportunity. Um, and with Claire, when we talked, we realized that although we came from opposite direction in a way, we had come to very similar views as far as where we're going next. And between the two of us, we offer quite a spectrum, really, I suppose, of experience and knowledge. Uh,
Uh,
we've been working with other people, and it's been working pretty well so far. So we're hoping to carry on.
how wonderful is that? Oh my goodness. Um, how long have you been considering the ideas that we present? How long has that been in your world?
Well, in one form or another, I don't have a formal doctrine to believe into or to represent.
Mm.
But I think that what I see is very based on my experience of life,
Um,
and that just looking around how we created that the nature works around us. So notice the cycle of life, all those things, and learn from it,
oh,
accepting that we are a product of nature ourselves, and therefore we obey the same, surface laws anyway,
mm,
and then feel that one is well looked after by nature, and there's no reason to worry too much about what's happening.
mm. Wonderful. Thank you. Um, I think worry is natural. Um, Planning for the future is unique to human beings, and that's what we do. And it's one of the reasons we survive. I think I worry about my grandchildren. Uh, I wonder what their future is going to be like. I see them on their phones as much as other young people, and I wonder how that affects them. I think being a grandparent is to worry is natural. I think to be a parent is to worry more. Um, Worry is part of the human condition. Uh, Everything we do is natural. Something can embrace everything about whatever arises in our brain without criticism. I was mad at my wife this morning. I was frustrated because I messed up so many times on posting this meeting, and I had to go back and correct it. And then Addie, who didn't make this meeting evidently, uh, changed the hour, so I had to go back and change that. And so and then I was trying to straighten out, have two locations. It's a very complicated mess, but I got frustrated and I got stern with my wife. And I felt bad about that. But it also, everything I did was embraced as beyond my control. There's no me to control it. Um, I emerge within the brain's reactions. And somehow the brain knows that. And the brain is what embraces that. The brain is what falls in love with you. I've known Tom for many years, the one with the baseball hat. Um, I love him. He was an airline pilot for American Airlines for many years. He's charming. Uh, every one of you, I look at Pendulum Nan. I call her Pen. She lives in Canada. She can't help that. It's not her fault. She has the Canadian brogue where she's in her game chair and we both are gamers. So we've been trying to find a game we play together and we tried one and it scared me so bad. I still can't think about it. Yeah, she shakes her head. I was terrified, but we'll get together and play games sometime. Each one of you, so many memories. Randy, I look at you, Amor, Guyana, Raja, Oliver, Barry. Each one of you, I just have fallen in love, and it feels like falling with nowhere to land, um, and nobody to land. It's light and airy, roomy, open to everything that happens. Um, what happened? Oh, my wife backed into a car not too long ago, and I thought that's okay. She was so worried about, still thinks about it. And they were people who live across the street who we adore. It was an older van, a work van that they have, and we gave them our insurance and everything, and they never have got the van corrected, fixed. I guess they thought it was old and not worth it, but all of that stuff seemed okay to me. Everything, I'll have something. I could lose a grandchild. I could lose my son at any time. Brain aneurysms happen. But the possibility of that loss doesn't worry me so much as makes me love them so much more, open to hugging and kissing and expressing my love. I could die at any moment. I had a stroke where I was wiggling on the floor and the world was turning black. And my first thought was, oh my God, I've had a wonderful life. This is like 12 years ago. And then I felt sorry for my wife because she came in and was frantic. So all of this is extra time for me. All of this is extra time for you. All of this. I look at the younger ones and think, oh my God, your life, where are you? Good things, wonderful things. Life itself is going to happen to you. And I look at the older ones and I see a whole lifetime of memories. In me, my memories are starting to fade. I have a friend, a dear friend, whose memories are leaving him. He's having a tough time. That happens. Each one of us will fade and die. But while we're here, look around at how beautiful it is. How lovely everything. I watched the dog on Barney's lap, loving him. It was so beautiful. Um, Bouquets. Everyone is a flower in our bouquet. You catch them and pick them, and then more people come in. Uh, the world is wonderful. Not because I believe it is, and there's nothing beyond belief, as we were talking about. There he is. Um, how could there be something beyond belief? Of course, those are just words too. Does anybody have ideas that were stirred up in this conversation?
I'd like to have an idea
Okay.
because I think beliefs, and actually, I I responded to one of your posts on Facebook where you were talking about beliefs, and I sent you a picture of Magritte, the Belgian artist, which is a pipe, and he said, "This is not a pipe." It's in French, by the way. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. This
Okay.
is not a pipe. And I think it's a great picture because beliefs, I reckon, are layers of words.
Oh,
So we have been a long time on this planet, and from the first couple, Adam and Eve, or whatever you want to call them, uh, to know they told a story to their children, who told a story to their children, who told a story to their children. So from the original reality, we have all those layers of words which are not the real thing. They're
hmm,
only an image of the real thing.
hmm,
And that has become our beliefs. So, in order to find reality, we need to walk back, not forward, in order to go back to the beginning. It sounds like a long journey, but we don't need to go that far because it's like being born again, effectively. We can be the first human being when we're born. We don't need to go back to Adam and Eve. So if we open our eyes again, right from the beginning, we have a chance to see more of a possible reality. I don't want to say that there is one. That's for everybody to choose. But actually, we have got a better chance when we start from the beginning.
I see what you're saying about words.
That was beautiful, by the way. Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, Layers of words, I think, is a wonderful concept. But the idea that there's a path beyond that, there's a path that we can go back to some pre-verbal state, I think is akin to any other path that states that we can attain something beyond who we are through a certain mental exercise. I see that as another belief about the nature of something that doesn't even exist. Um, Things exist only in the belief about them. The pipe, I saw the a beautiful picture. I didn't know what the saying was. This is not a pipe, but it makes sense to me now. Uh, Things, a table can be a chair, and a chair can be a table.
It depends whether you sit on it or not.
Exactly. An elephant can be a chair. Anything you can sit on is a chair. So the word chair loses all meaning. When you apply that line of thinking to any belief, it could be a belief about who and what we are and who and what we can be or become. It's just another belief about something that doesn't exist.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, Michael. You said you had children and grandchildren, is that right?
I do.
Now, part of my life, I inherited a daughter. I mean, she's my daughter, but her mother, unfortunately, fell ill and she disappeared. And I inherited that little girl as a man who had never brought up children before. And I had to deal and find out my way. Now, this is not a belief. My daughter is still here. And what I found really is if one let nature operates by itself, that children can grow very much on their own. We are just there to protect them, to make sure they don't hurt themselves, to provide a safe environment. But all these sort of stages of growth and development happen whether we like it or not. Now, for me to watch that spectacle, which is fabulous, it's like watching mountains or the sunrise, to see how nature takes care of its own. I don't believe in anything in particular, but I can see it.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong there, but that is what I have in me.
Okay. That's an observation. Uh, and you have a belief about that observation. The everything you stated is a belief that nature will take care of children. Uh, And that's a self-reinforcing belief. You'll find things to reinforce it and deny things that tend to reject that. It isn't that you can change that, you are that belief. But there's children who are raised with wolves and they lose the window where they can talk normally. Some of them can develop a few words and then that's all. Their window is closed. So there's no beneficent nature out there. There's no such thing as nature in the first place. But nature could care less about us as people. We don't exist. As a person, the body does, and it's a meat grinder out there for bodies, but the person doesn't exist. It's an ideation composed of nothing but self-referential memories. It's a closed loop. It's a self of I am, as opposed to I am not that. Um, the schism, the canyon between self and other is imaginary. The self is imaginary. It's a figment of the brain's self-referential memories. It's a loop of beliefs, um, a phantom, a hologram developed from the light coming in from others. It takes a tribe to raise a child. Uh, the parent, the child points and child says, "Oh, that's a horsey." What sound does a horsey make? The language window is open, and pretty soon the idea of I am starts to emerge. I am separate from that horsey. the horsey and me. The schism, the subject-object world appears magnificently, I think. And then you become part of the tribe. You learn language, your teachers, they celebrate your first birthday, your second, your third. All of this adds to the illusion of separation. Out of that comes humanity. Out of that comes human suffering, the aloneness, the existential angst, all of that, the suffering that the Buddha spoke about. Um, Also, out of that comes love and beauty. It's the only place love exists. Love, beauty. There's no other animal that celebrates beauty. We do.
So, Michael,
Hmm.
uh, I like that train of thought that you were going. But yeah, like I mean, like you're always going to this awesome wholeness that we seemingly all are, right? This whatever it is. And then you bring it back to we are these individuals. Like, like I mean, it's like you're juxtaposing the two, like
I know. I know.
So yeah,
Uh,
like to remind us that we are this duality and also that.
no, I never suggest there's a wholeness. There's an imaginary wholeness or oneness that is only the unification of imaginary things. It's an imaginary wholeness based on the assumption that all imaginary things are one, and they're not. They're
Because
imaginary.
they don't exist, Michael.
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't you say, wouldn't you say that they don't exist as such?
Mm.
Things don't exist. So how would you even have a wholeness?
Um, Things separate individual entities exist only in the naming of them, like the state of Texas. There's no line between Texas and Oklahoma. Uh, the chair and table analogy. There's no, what makes a pipe a pipe? This is not a pipe. It has the shape of what we consider to be a pipe and has the function, but a pipe, you can smoke anything you can put wood in and smoke would be a pipe, really. A pipe loses all meaning. Everything loses meaning in this perspective. And the self in particular loses meaning. Tables and chairs, there's they're just names. See, agreements, they are a languaged agreement. I don't
They're pipe dream.
like dreams, you silly.
Dream. It's all a pipe dream.
You silly girl.
Yeah. A pipe dream. I like that. This is not a pipe dream.
Mm.
Than that. Or better than that.
Beautiful. Um, yeah, it's
But I mean, like we're looking even at beliefs, like Michael. I mean, like maybe it's just completely off what you are saying. But even if we look at beliefs, like and truth, like you said, there's no truth, right? And there's beliefs. And what happens, like, is there any some point, like when where we all believe the same kind of thing, and
yeah,
then that becomes the truth?
no, no. You go to your room.
No.
You sweetie. Belief is individual. It's our own
Yeah.
cross-reference system that the brain has developed since childhood. It's all self-referential. Everything you see is different than my world. That's our aloneness. Every name you have is different than my names. We have a common language, English, and
Yeah.
but each of us have its own unique language that separates us from being you. Language is what separates us. Um, it can't separate. It separates, and it's imaginary. It can't unify what is imaginary. My trees are different than your tree. South Africa is where you live. I don't know what your tree means. And when you talk about liberal or conservative. I don't know what you have in your brain that says those things or created those beliefs. And as I mentioned earlier, you are not separate from the beliefs. You are the brain's beliefs.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, how am I like? Yeah, but I mean, like now, if we have you have, I have a picture of a tree in my head right now, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Mm. If I have a picture of a tree in my head right now, and I'm sharing that with you, so it's like as long as I'm using language, there is going to be like some sort of discrepancy, right, of the tree that you will see if I describe it.
Hmm.
In description, right?
Hmm.
And but if I show you a picture,
No, it would be like showing me the word tree. The picture, again, I would correlate that with everything that I know. It would fit into my world. It has to pass the filter of my world to enter. So it's different. You show me a picture and I'll I'll make that my filtered through my perspective. Still different, fundamentally different. We're so unique. We're all the same and we're all so different. With the
yes, yes, but you also talk of a shared overlay.
Hmm. That's the dream we share.
Yeah,
The shared
so
dream
overlay.
separation.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, overlay and dream are hints at what we are, who we are can never be known. But we can point. We can,
The lights came on, Michael. The lights came on.
yeah, that's as
Oh,
close as
sorry, sorry.
I'm sorry, hon. Sweetie. Yeah, to me, this means I salute the humanness in you, not the God, but the humanness. I love the humanness. It's the only thing I know. My whole world is nothing but humanness, human maleness. Um, and I salute, I, I don't know, I see you as jewels, faceted by life itself, chipped off pieces where the light shines through into this wonderful jewel, um, flashing lights and ideas into my world. Um, some have a feminine flavor, some have a masculine flavor, but they're all ideas, layers of ideas. I find it so delicious, so scrumptious, like fusion food. It's like fusion ideas exploding in the brain. Um, Sylvan said something that exploded in my brain, and I had to write it down. Um, you all have ideas that explode in my brain. Um, and I love that. I love these interchanges. I love the exchanges. My beliefs, uh, embracing. I can't embrace your beliefs because they're fundamentally different than mine. Something, oh, it must be something you said. Somebody left, Raja. Couldn't have been something.
And that's not because it's like 1 hour and 15 minutes. I love you, Michael.
Oh, I love you too. I love you too. Um, Gosh, oh, and Randy's here. I've known Randy for a long time. Randy is very skilled at a profession that he hasn't shared with people, and I'm not sure why, but he is.
You just got right to it.
Yeah, I just dove right into the. We're all in the deep end now.
I have theories and explanations, but none of them are really satisfying, you know. I can start talking about the music industry and the people around there and the way that it's like you need to brand yourself and market yourself. While I have this existential crisis going on, I'm not sure how to do that.
Uh,
Like, here's me. I'm definitely a real person. You should definitely take me seriously. And I'm falling apart at the same time.
yeah, this isn't easy. No one said this is easy.
Gonna say join the club, brother. Yeah, join the club.
This
Here
is
we are. Hey.
Then it's the same thing with like it's similar to the whatever you call it, the non-duality circles, where there'll be people who upload a YouTube channel and they'll say the words, you know, the usual terminologies and the words, and it's like 100,000 subscribers in a week, and it's like
Yeah.
bullshit. It's the same thing with music. You see that all of the time.
yeah, yeah, bullshit. Yeah, that's what this is. Like I mentioned, this is not easy. This is terrifying in many ways. It's not for sissies. Um, to lose everything we never had is scary. Everything. You're left with absolutely nothing to hold on to. It's
Mm.
falling. It's falling in through a vast unknown unknowableness. Um, knowing that we can I'm sorry, hon. Uh, knowing that we can never know anything and knowing that even that is a belief. But we have to have beliefs to be together. We need to be this imaginary self to experience this love. Um, Claire's a psychotherapist and she deals with this all the time. I don't know how she knits those worlds together, trying to bring somebody back into the dream, which you have to be immersed in the dream before you can realize it isn't it doesn't exist. Uh, I don't know how she keeps the balance between trying to stabilize people. I wasn't ready for any of this. I took years of therapy, um, trying to stabilize myself in the dream. I was really screwed up. At least that's my belief. But I really was. I had a terribly dysfunctional childhood. I was empty as a child and adolescence. I didn't care about life. Panic attacks, depression, thoughts of suicide. I think therapy is wonderful with a loving therapist, and I had several. Um, but at what point someone stabilized enough to start graduating to the deep end of the pool? I don't know.
Funny, Michael, because it's not there's not anything sort of linear about it. It kind of just sort of happens. I had a client this evening actually who this is why we're a bit late, and it was like we were speaking this sort of we're speaking the non-duality language, even though it was, you know, the third session or something. He was talking about how he doesn't really understand why people behave in particular ways. He sort of has to act. He has to sort of, you know, try and fit in at work, and he feels it's quite inauthentic. And you know that's sort of what we talk about in non-duality. It's this sort of the idea of a separate self, this kind of feeling of not quite, you know, being connected. And you know, this guy's never had therapy before. He's in his mid 40s, but I wasn't talking about non-duality, but then I kind of was. You know, every sort of conversation I have with a client is about non-duality, as long as you're kind of holding that idea that there's not a separate individual here. There is just what is, and it's lovely and beautiful. And you know, I can kind of connect to that on a sort of on a very deep level. And I think he kind of feels that. Well, I don't know. Hopefully he does. He keeps coming back, so it can't be. He's getting something from it.
Isn't it that your normal client wants to have a more stronger sense of self?
I mean, I think it does bring a stronger sense of self because Michael, you and I have talked about this. For me, I don't really feel like I had a sort of sense of self on a material level. I kind of floated a lot, but then with the non-duality, I feel like now I have a kind of more dualistic identity. And to Razia, your point earlier that Michael kind of straddles both camps almost. It's like you need to have the non-dual awareness in order to have the kind of dualistic identity sometimes. And for some people who have never had that ability to kind of integrate and to feel like they have a sort of identity at all, and that it actually sort of that kind of comes with non-duality as well. Like it's helped me become a psychotherapist. It's helped me to me and Sylvana have met, we're working together. It sort of brings some reality into your life. Like non-duality does help with the sense of self.
Mm, that's so beautiful. I think once if you get to a certain stage or openness, the spontaneity happens where you find yourself, well, we all speak spontaneously anyway, we don't plan what we're going to say, but somehow we become aware that the spontaneity is the greatest gift. Through this love, this tribal affection, and your desire to help people and your acquired knowledge about techniques and you spent years studying, seems to have combined into a therapy that I wish I would have had. It's delightful to see. I do know that there are people who find themselves in this place without anybody to talk to. I've talked to a few of them who said, "Oh my God, this whatever thing happened, and the world fell apart on me. I don't know who I am or what I am anymore." Um, Life, like I mentioned, could care less about us, and so those people are out there, and it would be nice to have someone like you who could tell them, talk to them about this. I don't
I was
know.
lucky, yeah. I had a psychotherapist who is it's transpersonal is the therapy that I trained in, which is kind of non-duality psychotherapy. I don't know if it's a thing in the US, transpersonal psychotherapy. So it was just pot luck that I came across her, and it was interesting hearing Randy talking about music because it's sort of we all have our own sort of roots into this, don't we? And whatever kind of resonates with us is sort of that helped me a lot. So I'm like, well, I'm going to pay that gift forwards to people because
Uh,
that was, it just naturally happened one day. I said, I just want to do what you do. I don't want to, I used to sell alcohol for a living and I just don't want to do that anymore. So you kind of just do what yeah, you sort of follow how you've been inspired, you inspire forwards maybe. So
And this is very much why, from my point of view, life does care because life has created somebody like Claire. And that for people who do have issues, she can come and guide them out of a very dark place. And truly, that is life doing it. We don't do it ourselves because we don't know who we are, as you pointed out. So there is a balance in life where there's the opposite, which actually can meet and do something together.
oh, that's wonderful. Oh my God. Yes, somehow across this Grand Canyon, we can help each other. Um, the small tribes of 20 or 30 people all helping and loving each other in a tribal sense. And maybe that's what love is. I don't know. But this, like I mentioned earlier, is a tribe. This is a tribe of people with similar beliefs, um, a similar language, and there is a tribal feeling of compassion, uniqueness of each individual that seems to be an integral part of the tribe. There was a bowl maker and a fire starter and a storyteller and a warrior and all of these elements that make tribes survive. The colors of personalities, the different points of view, the experiences, all add to the tribal feeling. And it's quite lovely.
You're describing a beautiful life.
Yes, a
Where
beautiful home.
we can put live together, offering the best we have to everybody else.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, that it seems to happen by itself. That's no longer a goal here. Um, but this whatever it is seems to arise between two people. Wherever two or more are gathered, there I am appears. Um, we alone, we're nothing. We don't exist alone. The worst thing you can do to a tribal member is to expel them from the tribe, cast them out. Um, After about 4 months, they start to go insane without feedback from their tribe. Uh, it's no life at all alone, this physical aloneness. We exist only in each other's light. Uh, I love that. I don't have any friends who are not non-dual. I don't want any. My wife and I love each other and enjoy each other's company. My tribe is this. If I were to go over to somebody's house and play games, or I don't know what people do anymore, or talk about, I don't have any sports fans. I wouldn't know what to talk about. I find it very boring. Small talk. I like diving deep.
Michael?
Yes.
But I think like what's so, I mean, although it's like you say, small talk, right? But it is within that that we learn about this otherness that we seemingly are, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I don't consider.
Yeah, that's how yeah, it's making small talk and
Mm.
just, I mean, like you're bonding now. You're bonding. I don't know if bonding is good or bad or whatever. I don't know, but
Depends on how
yeah,
I
that's
do
yeah.
I don't consider this small talk. I consider this the deep end of the pool talk. This is the bottomless pool. Very few
Mm,
people enter it. Very few people.
yeah, I would
Thinkers.
say
I
so.
know when I met Michael, just a little one. When I first met Michael, I used to like I had this like a low self-esteem kind of a thing going. Yeah. So yeah, and every day he used to say you are beautiful, you know.
Are
Not
beautiful.
I mean to me exactly, but to everyone. And
You.
somehow that like stuck, yeah. It's like
Mm.
you somehow and then one day you look at yourself and God, I am beautiful, like, you know? And so yeah.
Yeah,
I love your
and
hair.
you are.
Yeah, love your
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Your
love I love Razi's hair. Razi's hair is like really special, isn't it?
hair.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's we touched on something here because we have this little conversation group, and yeah, sometimes we're sharing what we're cooking, right? Which is like what everyone does on Facebook and stuff. But
Oh,
actually, but it's very beautiful because actually, Michael, it is in this conversation. All of it is in this conversation.
mm,
All of it is in this conversation.
mm.
All of it. Our health, our broken knees, our missing legs, whatever it is that's going on for us, right? But the sharing is the beautiful thing, right? The sharing, and when it's completely in integrity, it is so profound and it's so beautiful. And actually, nothing else needs to be said. There's no teaching going on. There's no wanting going on. There's no needing going on. There's just that lovely, beautiful sharing, and
Ah,
that's what I found, like with Razia and Phyllis and yourself, and you know that there can be, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but there could be a couple of conversations, but that conversation can be just so beautiful. It's just gentle sharing, you know. This is my room. This is my dog. This
mm.
is life. This is my life. This is it, you know. And there's something lovely about that. And I love, love, love Razzie and you.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
so
But
Thank you.
beautiful.
I
So,
say God in detail. God is,
Mindfulness.
and the devil is in the details. So the details and the whole shebang is the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I can show you that what I'm cooking, how I'm making this uh, beautiful ratatouille français, niçoise, and I can show you all the ingredients. But I have no wanting that you make this. I don't care. I'm sharing the beauty of this food because you like food. But there's
yeah.
Yeah.
hunger, this need. You got to try this. You'll love it. If I hear that ever again, I would fall down. You got to try.
And
I don't. No,
Michael makes nice bread, Phyllis.
yeah, but if nothing
Sourdough.
doesn't matter, I can share it and not even feel that somebody is that's having toast with peanut butter and jelly is any less nourishing or exciting than my ratatouille.
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
you're beautiful. Tom, any ideas come up in that beautiful pilot's brain?
No, I'm just enjoying the edification that's
Uh,
going on.
you love. Guyana, any thoughts you feel like sharing? Are you still there? Ah, well, this has been a wonderful meeting. All that frustration is gone. The frustration was natural. Everything is natural. Um, everything we've ever done is natural. Forgiveness becomes totally meaningless when choice is factored out. We can forgive bank robbers because that's bank robbing is what they do. We can forgive ourselves for putting them in a place where there's no banks. But even that is meaningless. Everything is meaningless except the meaning that we attribute to it. The pipe is meaningless. Tables and chairs, there's nothing to hold on to here. There's no pilot to correct this free fall.
No banks, but plenty of bars.
Ah, plenty of
And
bars.
then the bars are gone, you're flying.
Truly, the cage was imaginary.
Yeah, the cage was not there.
But
Just
then we're flying with a cage whenever we dip into this stream of separation. The cage is objectification. The world stops at our ability to objectify. We have trouble with infinity because we can't objectify it. When we think of infinity going out to space, it also goes inward into the minute. And
They join hands, going out and coming in. The in and the going out join hands.
yeah, it seems like holding hands in the falling. Um, but it just seems. Everything seems. Even the falling is an idea, a belief. There's no way around that. There's no way through that. There's no way to transcend it. There's no way to embrace it. There's no way to objectify it. God, you're all so beautiful.
you are too, Michael.
Oh, you love. Oh, thank you.
I was going to ask just one more thing about astrology. This is what came to head. I don't want to forget about this.
Okay.
Um, so if I find a person who is born at on the same day and year and relative location as me, shouldn't that mean his life is like extremely similar to mine, just based on what astrology says?
Um, you'd have to ask an astrologer. I think they'd have to be born at the exactly same instant, in the same location. But I don't know. I think on deeper inspection, things like astrology and Enneagram, reading tea leaves, the the life wrinkle here in your hand that tells you how long you're going to live. Uh, I think they all fall apart as beliefs about astrology affects not the body, I believe, but the person. And the person we know doesn't exist. So logic takes us to a place that denies the possibility that astrology could work, but still the belief system has knitted that into the person, which is the same as the belief system, that has become knitted into the realm of belief and will reject those things that it has to naturally reject anything that disrupts that belief system. Without the belief system, the person doesn't exist. So the brain will protect those belief systems. It'll make sense of, well, the stars said that I would meet somebody or that I am a certain personality type. And I really believed in Enneagram. Like I said, I come to find out I was a three. And if you like Scientology, oh God, I almost got into Scientology too, um, which is about Mormonism. If you get into any belief system, it's self-reinforcing, and that is who you are. Um, we can't see that, of course, because we are the belief itself. So one time I said, does astrology work if you're 100 million miles away from Earth? Does it apply to the same person? But the influence of the stars and the moon and other mysterious forces in space wouldn't be in the same location. They'd be at a far distance. Does astrology still apply? So you start logically trying to break a belief system, and you can't. Um, and or you should. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get, I think, the brain of other peoples to see that belief systems are tenacious. They are who they are. Um, and even after this, anybody who is here now will have a belief in astrology, not because they can change that, not because they can break it down. That's because that's who they are. I find that beautiful.
But Michael, it's also like your brain, right? And your like you said, like like I used to read my stars. I'm a Leo, right? So if I used to read my stars religiously every day, and then one day someone told me that's all BS. So I lost interest in it.
Well,
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
we cling to those things that reinforce a belief, and it becomes real, and it
Yeah.
appears like that's the way the world runs, but it's just a belief. And again, what I'm saying about belief is just another belief. There's nothing here but beliefs, and there's no way through or around that. I think that by talking to people about belief, get them to see that every belief, including the one I'm talking about, is reference to something that doesn't exist. It's no tables, no chairs, no pipes out there in the world, except our beliefs about them. And we knit together these beliefs into a cohesive, what appears to be a cohesive overlay. And that's our world. And each of us is different. Uh, I love the difference. I love thinking about Tom's flights, hundreds and hundreds of flights with hundreds and hundreds of people in his care. What it was like to be a pilot. It's not easy. Your time schedule's all screwed up, and your crew is quite often snickery, and the people can be crazy, and it's just a hard job. And I admire pilots so much. I admire everybody so much for whatever job you've had to survive, however you survived. Raj's great grandparents came from India to Africa, for God's sakes. How courageous is that? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, my God.
And they came to work on the sugarcane fields.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and I look at myself and I say, God, I mean, like, I wouldn't even have had a chance to be spiritual, you know, if I stayed in India.
Yeah.
I'd probably be washing clothes or doing something.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, how your life has changed because of one, like, decision that your parents made, you know, or
Mm,
great grandparents.
mm, truly. Well, you beauties, it's time to go. Oh, your hair. Look at Phyllis's hair. My God, it's so long. Beautiful. Look at you. I want to know everything about you. I want to know all those things that you did in that window between between AIDS and birth control. Write a book for us. Those that you can remember, you beauty. Oh my God. Oh, look at you.
Wow.
Oh my. Does it,
Yeah,
It was nice to see clear, but
we've got a
it,
photo of Phyllis, haven't we? From Phyllis from 20 years ago, I think it is.
yeah.
oh,
It's a great
Oh,
photo.
yeah. She was like a real beauty queen.
Yeah.
I mean, she still is
So,
beautiful.
Yes. There was, with the little daisy. She's got a little daisy there. Yeah, how's she got that daisy?
you're
wow.
the day. We're all the days. We
You loves.
hey,
Well,
Ron,
Flower power.
you might.
She's flower power.
oh,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Very flower power. That's us.
flower
Yeah.
power.
Pipe dreams.
Pipe dreams. Yes. How lovely. Thank you all for coming. I
You.
will post this on YouTube.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Nice
Uh,
to see you, Michael.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love
Thank
you. Love
Bye-bye.
you all.
Thank you all for sharing. Beauties.
Love
Thanks,
you.
you.
Enjoy, and I enjoyed this.
Oh, thank you, Tom. What a love you are. I enjoyed it too.